I am the jungle wolf. Get the old jacket out today. It's like 38 degrees in North Platte this morning. The one time anything interesting happened on the trip tonight, and I had to thing not recording. I had to come to actually twice. Once in a work zone, a truck driver decided to pass somebody in front of him in a work zone with cones dividing the highway. I had to come to a complete stop in the middle of the highway to not have a head-on collision with that dude. And then like 2 hours later, I almost hit a deer. It was like a 6 or an 8 point buck, big sucker. I saw him from a long ways and slowed way down and let him cross. But didn't catch either one of those on camera tonight. So it's one of those times. It's like I have the thing recording most of the time. Every now and then I have to stop it for some reason or another. Like company calling me or my wife, talking to my wife. That's what was happening when I was almost in that head-on collision with that other truck driver. But I made it down here to North Platte. I gotta get this thing dropped and hooked. I'm sitting here waiting on him right now. I'm not sure what's going on. I've been waiting for like 5 minutes. But when they get back out here with my bills, I gotta go drop this trailer off, drive around their yard, look for an empty. We're like 2 hours from Grand Island, so we'll try to get back up there. Get more.
That's a little trouble. Anyway, here's a list of your empties.
Okay.
Have you been there before?
I've delivered a bunch, but I've never dropped them off, so I don't know where they go.
Let me get you on that. Normally, where you deliver along those doors,
Right.
you're going to put it in this,
Okay.
this row. These are the doors you usually go to.
Right.
You're just right across, you're going to put it there.
Okay.
And then take your paperwork in the door like normal.
Okay.
And there's a list of empties.
On
You
that
can do
other paper.
after you do your paperwork.
All right.
On
Sounds
your
good.
way out,
Same protocol.
stops on.
Yeah. Appreciate you, buddy.
Have a good one.
Yep. That fella right there, I just talked to him for 10 minutes and he was telling me like how little money he's making working for her spot. Like the dude's pulling in $900 a week. On the road, that is not much. And he's asking me how much money I make. I told him and he's like, well, how are you doing that? I was like, well, I'm dedicated and I get paid the same no matter how much miles I do. And 1 second, man. He was telling me that like he had refused a few loads and stuff like that. I was like, well, that might be it. Hold on. Found a trailer right here next to this stuff, so I'm gonna hook up to it. It's on their empty list. Save me time that way. Anyway, like I was saying, he was trying to explain to me his like strategy on making miles, and I guess somebody told him something like the less miles you run, the more you make. Like, I don't know. I was like, man, that's not how the trucking industry works, man. He said he's been driving for 5 years. I was like, does that make sense to you? The less miles you run, the more money you make? He's like, well, no, it's not how it usually works, but they explained it to me somehow. that if you know, you make a certain amount of cents for the first something miles and the pay goes down. I was like, okay, yeah, but you still want to make miles, even if the pay goes down a little bit. After a certain percentage, you know, a certain number of miles, if you want decent paychecks, you need your miles in. Even if you do get less per mile, as long as it's still profitable pay, then that's what you want. You want more miles. And he's like, well, I don't know. That's not what they said. It's like, well, can you count? It's like, you can do math, can't you? And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, then do the math. You're not making enough money to make it profitable. Then you need to do more miles. You know, he's sitting there telling me that he rejects loads and stuff. I'm like, well, if you're early on with the company, it's a really bad habit to start rejecting loads. I don't know. I just told the guy, like, if he's having trouble making money, the best advice I could give him was to maybe it's the second or third like ball I've found just randomly in parking lots. I'll give it to Diesel. He'll chew on it. Anyway, I just told him that maybe he could talk to the recruiters and find out if there's a dedicated run he could be on or something. That's how I'm making my money. I don't know. It's confusing. be in Grand Island, which is about 30 miles down the road by 2000, and that road goes down to Fort Worth. I'm going to attempt to get into Denton to the yard and get this oil change and stuff done on this truck. It's been 5 months or so since I've had any maintenance done to this thing, and I'd like to get this stinking air dump system working because that's been kind of a bane of my existence. I don't like dropping trailers high, and there's not really much else I can do because when the suspension, say especially on loaded trailers, when you have a heavy trailer, the suspension levels out so your airbags are really high, and as you go to drop the trailer, the fifth wheel wants to pop up, and there's so much force on that fifth wheel that the back end of it pops up. So then when you go to try to back up against another trailer, you got to get out and raise that fifth wheel back so it'll go up under the trailer. And it's making it tough on guys coming and picking up empty trailers and stuff from me, because I end up having to drop them higher than they should be. What I like to do is get them the landing gear like an inch off the ground and then dump the air suspension so that it lowers down. That way that when the next guy comes, it's at the right level where he can back it up. It picks the landing gear up off the ground so he doesn't have to wrestle with the landing gear trying to get the landing gear up. But I haven't been able to use my air suspension dump since I got in this truck. It's something wrong with it. So I've tried figuring it out myself. I've replaced fuses and looked at all the connectors to it. I can't figure out what's wrong with it, but I'm also not a mechanic, so I like to pretend to be one on the weekends, but I'm not. But that's it for me. Old boy's chewing on that ball I found. He thinks he's in trouble because he's destroyed it. It's cool. It's okay. He's already pretty much chewed it up. But yeah, that's it for me today.